Jason is here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today we have an exciting Star Wars show because Rob is here with his Christmas lights still up after Christmas. What the heck, man?
That shit stays up till February. What are you talking about?
I put the Christmas tree away today. I said, get out of here.
Long as there's snow on the ground, there's lights on the roof, buddy. I don't care what the HOA says. You know?
Yeah, fuck them. You know, you're the master of your destiny.
No, the HOA is the only thing that's keeping assholes from parking their cars on their lawn. So I respect them.
That is an issue on my street. There's these people who live a couple of houses down, and for some reason they have about 15 cars, and then they're always parking in front of my house, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm the guy going, we're ending this. You know?
Yeah. I'm like, you know, every now and then, shit happens. No problem. But when you go and you park your car there for like 4 days, I can't take it. You know?
No, that's ghetto shit, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
But yeah. So, how was Christmas? Did you get anything Star Wars for Christmas?
The
fake fan.
Look, Christmas is a time where I try not to remember my abandonment. Does that count? That's kind of Star Wars. Yeah.
No, not at all. You need to face your fears.
You know what I did do? I listened to an interview with the director writer of American Fiction. I want to say Cole Jackson, something like that, right? Really good interview on was it Team Deacons, the Team Deacons, Roger Deakins podcast. Funny thing about American Fiction, because this guy, he wrote the episode of the Watchmen series that everyone loves, the 6th one, right? It's really, really great episode. But there's a guy who got into journalism, and long story short, kept finding himself, like, because of the color of his skin, like, hey, you get to write about Trayvon Martin every day, right? And it was just like, is this all I am? You know, is this all I have? Yeah. So he read a book. It felt close to home. He got the rights to it, wrote American Fiction. But do you know who produced that film? Who paid for it? Gave him the money?
Your mom who abandoned you?
This is the Star Wars connection. Ryan Johnson. Johnson made that movie happen.
Wait, Ryan Johnson's your mom?
Huh?
I'm so confused now.
Well, you know,
I'm
Bam's
sorry.
my dad. You know, I like the role reversal there. You think Bam might have been the mom, but no. Yeah. So anyway, but I thought
wait, who?
Good interview.
Who are you talking about? Bam Majera?
Bam.
Oh, you're just making names up again, dude. You're just
look.
making...
You're the reporter. I'm the artist. All right, like that's how this works. You know how this works. Ram Johnson, right? Is it Johnson? Johansson?
Yeah, you're thinking. I think you're thinking of a Ram Bergman. Ram Bergman.
I got close. I said Bergman before you said it. I said it.
I think if you said it to his face, he would say not close enough.
Huh? Yeah, but that's because he wants me to get in closer to kiss him. Like
you're right, Bob.
He means you're not close enough, Bob. You call me Bob, that's fine. I'll just call you Star Wars Theory. You know what I mean?
I'll take the Lambo and all the hate. Sure, you know.
Okay, Santa would call him Josh. Right?
No, Josh is the other one. Josh is the nerds.
They're all the same fucking dudes to me, Jason.
More or less, yeah. Al Patrickson says, "Hope we get a trailer, a release date, and a release drop strategy for the Bad Batch season 3 next month." So I got to ask, Al, why would you think it would be next month? Because I don't know, man. In my opinion, like I was saying a few months ago, probably canceled Disney Plus for about half a year. You know, don't do the math now because it'll be wrong. I'm not saying it comes out in 6 months, but yeah, I don't know. I saw there was like things on Star Wars Makes channel this morning from one of the producers or the music producer or something like that. Like, oh, we're doing stuff. Yeah, they're doing stuff, but you know, I don't know.
I like Meg, but I really love it when she tweets out, Congratulations, Star Wars Bad Batch, for getting a Golden Spacey Award for
A Kevin Spacey Award for excellence.
for the League of Fantasy Excellence. You know, you're like, all right, chill out there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I'm razzing a little bit.
I
But you know
appreciate
what I mean.
her
Like,
enthusiasm.
someone's got
But
to butter that toast, because I don't think my impersonations are getting us there. Right,
I
Jason?
mean,
Like,
you know, in a
right?
pinch it'll do. But anyways, yeah, I hope we get a trailer soon too. I mean, a teaser, I guess. But you know, I think it's gonna be a dry couple of months, is for more or less. Hope I'm wrong. I saw like I was laughing at a corporate run, you know, nerd channel, whatever you want to call it, did like a, oh, what Star Wars gonna look like in 2024? And there's fucking leading with like,
Long
up
COVID.
first is Skeleton Crew, get ready. And it's just like I was laughing because it was completely like inverted. It was just inverted, and I mean, and you see like all of these like bullshit rumors coming in, and I'm like, they literally just like circumvented me and Bespin Bulletin. Like it was like the bullets were all coming at him, and they were like fucking Neo, like just dodging the truth, you know. And I was like, okay, good luck with that one with your researchers there. Somebody got paid to do that. Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk? Are we allowed to talk about that Santa pic you sent me, or is that off? That not on the table?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so let's just say it's off the table. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. You might need. You could text me, and if you know, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. But it sounded like you got Star Wars Santa nudes.
Yeah,
and I don't know anything about that.
And you forward me the news, and I wasn't aware if we could share the news or not.
Yeah. He said if I wanted your mom jokes, I'd watch Screen Crush breakdowns. Hey, whatever, man. Whatever. Hey, Max, how's it going? I hope you had a good Christmas and all that. And Max has just been in Willy Wonka land eating the chocolates, like watching that Wonka. She loves Willy Wonka. She has like a whole like Wonka like packaging collection. Was it a package collection? Is that what you call it? Of like vintage wrappers and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Well, we all love that scene when they went to the gummy bear trees and shit, right? Like we can admit that, right, Jason?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Gummy bear trees.
The gummy bear trees in the original Wonka, when they go into the you know, they go into the fucking playground with all the fucking candy everywhere, and they got gummy bears hanging from trees.
Really?
Oh, you know, Max, he doesn't. Come on, Max, you know what I'm talking about. Fucking Jason, don't act like you didn't watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, I mean no that photo's out there.
Okay, I wasn't certain.
No, it's not a Star Wars Santa thing. It's she's talking about Dave Filoni dressed up as Santa at the Lucasfilm holiday party.
Yeah, I'm sending that out to all my Christmas cards next year. Like, I couldn't do it this year because you sent that to me too late, but that's getting out there.
Yeah. Al Patrickson says, I think next month because the Bad Batch season 3 is already complete. Yeah, but you know what? Skeleton Crew's already complete too, and you won't get that until you're 90, Al. Until next year, basically. Season 3 is already complete, was post per Jennifer Corbett, and the Acolyte Skeleton Crew are still in post-production. Yeah, Skeleton Crew's post-production. That's, I mean, maybe they're you know gonna remove something in the background. It's been pretty done for a long time.
If I wanted your Bad Batch jokes, I'd go watch Campio.
I know people internally who were seeing Skeleton Crew finish stuff like a long time ago now. Let's not be. I don't want to be. You know, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But it could have been released in November. And it's being just for scheduling reasons, and because of Mando, I think because of Mando getting pushed, I think they're like pushing that one to the back end of the year. So
and the strike, right?
Yeah, but the it was done before the strike. It wasn't affected. It was okay. It finished production like closer to when Ahsoka finished. That's how it was filming concurrently with Ahsoka. Right. And Ahsoka's been out for months now. Like the only reason, like I said, I'm not saying that they might not be refining the effects here and there or something like that. Them all that shot shot 23B looks like dog shit, and they're gonna like touch it up. But it could have already been out. Yeah, yeah, and
that one.
but like I said, if you're paying month to month on Disney Plus and you only care about the new content, unsubscribe from it right now, and you'll save yourself a couple of
Marvel
bucks.
Animation's gonna get you through this year.
This is a Star Wars show. Most people don't care about both. So if you care about both, then there you go. But I would also say unsubscribe, and then if you only kind of care about the Marvel stuff, subscribe back when it's all there, and then just watch it. I mean, Disney Plus before now was promising or at least implying that there would be 3 to 4 Star Wars shows, and I'm talking about live action shows like per year, blah 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 blah. No, you're gonna get one in the beginning of the year and one at the end of the year in some form. How the schedule works but basically part 1 of the year and part 2 of the year, one show, the other show. That's our future right now, to the best of my knowledge, until something else happens. That's our future. And once we get into the films stuff, I don't see them wanting to go in and then start adding a third show once the films go into production too. So I wouldn't hold my breath on. I don't think Disney Plus is really a thing that's worth it at the moment, unless you got that Hulu Disney Plus bundle and you like your Hulu. It is nice with it being bundled. I got a deal on Black Friday where I'm basically paying $3 a month for Hulu and Disney Plus together. And so I am going to keep it. I'm going to be a hypocrite, but I'm only paying $3. If I was paying like the full price of those things, I'd be fucking out. It's not worth it. And when you get down to it, now you're paying a premium for an archival service. Nah, don't do it. That's what I say anyways.
Yeah, I'm supporting the animators on this one.
You're what? Sorry.
Supporting the animators on this one. I would agree with you if it wasn't for this Marvel animation coming out.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna go and get
97.
I'm not gonna go
Spider-Man,
get but it's not worth it's not worth going and spending over $100 on Disney Plus a year to support like 2 shows. If they buy the show for $40 when it's on digital,
I'm not waiting 3 fucking years for them to put out a Blu-ray.
That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen like that usually.
They only reward and rehire these people, Jason, when they get the numbers. Like, look at Star Trek Prodigy, right?
They don't deserve the numbers anymore.
No one on Paramount Plus watches fucking kid shit. They were going to cancel this show, sold it to Netflix, and now it's the highest watched kid show on Netflix. So they only reward immediate numbers, not after sales. That's it.
Yeah, but what Disney Plus is doing doesn't deserve to be rewarded. I mean, in the current thing, they want to. I mean, the amount of money that you are paying for Disney Plus at this point is like, it's not worth it. It's worth buying all of the shows. It would be great to see the shows when the shows come out. I say subscribe if you want to watch
Jason, I just spent $100 this Christmas on Fortnite skins for Bespin. I'm telling you right now.
That doesn't benefit me, so I don't care.
Welcome to Gen X.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not a Gen Xer. I told you, Cusper.
You are. You are.
I'm not. I'm Oregon Trail generation, bitch. It's a fact. What are they charging now for Disney Plus? Because I mean, like realistically, most people who are watching this show are watching Disney Plus for Star Wars. Is it worth $13.99 a month? No, it's not. When a Star Wars show is out, it is for those 2 months. For those 4 months, sure. But other than that, like for the Star Wars fan, it's not going to be worth it. And then if you want to wait around for the majority of the year, for the Bad Batch to show up and pay for that, if that gets you off, hey, by all means, I mean, do it. But to me, it just doesn't make sense. Not at the premium price. Anyways, but I am with you. I mean, like, don't bootleg the shows, pay for the shows and watch them. Buy them when they are released. I think they are. I'm getting the sense based off of the Mando 4K rollout so far, they are trying to get current, like with Mando, on the digital side and the disc side of things, like where people can buy the actual product. So I imagine we're going to start to see the home, like you could own it version of Ahsoka and stuff like that coming eventually. unless those fell on their face. But I see fans buying that, like really excited about that stuff. So I think it's going to do well. I think physical media is kind of becoming a little bit hot after the last, at post Zaslav, I'd say. That's when people started to realize, oh shit,
AZ after Zaslav.
Yeah.
AZ and BZ, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but like I said, I'm excited for X-Men 97 as well. Like I'm would pay for it. I mean, that's why I did Disney Plus the way I did it, so I can watch that when it comes out. And I will contribute to those numbers. But do I think people should pay over $100 a year because they want to watch Mando,
Yes.
whatever? No, it's not. That is crazy. That's like too much money, man. I mean, for like what it is. Well, no, but that's why I support like Disney Plus being sort of like broken apart, where if you want to spend the $20 a month and have all of the components, by all means do it. But I would rather just pay for $7 a month for like the Star Wars archival service with those shows. And then I could do it again with Marvel or something like that. But they want to get you in for the full 20 no matter what. So like, once again, we're subsidizing fucking Tom Hanks Pinocchio movies. Like I always say, it's like, no, I don't fucking want that shit. I don't want to watch Aladdin. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to watch any of that stuff. And that's what you end up like, you end up paying for it because you like this one thing. And I don't know, man. It's just like, it's like I don't need all of that. So if I was a casual fan, I would wait until just things were done and I would just consume it then, because it's just not worth it to like the a week to week or the month to monthers. I don't think.
Yeah, but how much is it a month, right? If you sign up, how much is it if you sign up right now?
It's $14.
Okay, so it's $14. You watch X-Men for $14.
Hold on. It's Rob, you asked the question. Let me answer.
No, I'm cutting you off.
Or $140 a year. It's $140 a year.
Okay. So you're watching X-Men,
140.
and then you cut it off. That's $14. Then let's say 4 of those times. What's 14 times 4? $48 to start and stop. And you're never going to use it again. You're not going to watch nothing else. Look, if that's what you're going to do, you got to make certain that when you sign up, the first thing you watch is that animation. Because if you go, well, I'll just go watch this fucking Muppet thing while I wait, then they're going to think you sign up to watch the Muppet thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we don't really know which metric they prioritize. That is a thought. That is a theory. It's probably right, but we don't really know.
I believe in it.
Yeah, but we don't really know, and we don't, and like it might be true at Netflix, and it might not be true at Hulu, for instance, stuff like that. Like at the end of the day, like they do know what has interest. They do know what people are watching, and then that they should make more of that in theory. But once again, yeah, he got. I mean, I guess.
But we also watched Doctor Who. And so I was able to watch all the Doctor Who specials, and then all Doctor Who's coming to Disney Plus this year. So
hey, Rob, it sounds like Disney Plus is a great deal for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm keeping mine.
I
Doctor Who's probably saving, because you had they have in days of yore, like the last few years, Amazon would put up individual episodes or a season, and it's about the same price as $140 plus X-Men when you put it all together. Like,
yeah.
So I'm not going back to that fucking plan. I'd rather just, have the shit there. So
yeah.
Now I'll tell you. Plus, we're getting Star Wars. So if you had a Doctor Who, Star Wars, and the X-Men this year, then I'm good.
But if we went back to the physical media era. And let's just say you didn't watch things on TV. You watched them when they came out. 2 Star Wars shows at what, $40, $39.99 would probably be like the price.
Oh, sure, I don't know, but Lucas doesn't respect that formula either, because I bought the shit out of those 2D Clone Wars DVDs back in the day, and he canceled it. Canceled it, Jason.
Two wrongs don't make a right. No, you're going with this wrong. 2 wrongs make a right. That's not true. That doesn't make this more palatable. But what we're saying is basically your average Star Wars fan, because your average Star Wars fan does not care about the animated shows. I like them.
Jason, I canceled
those
don't. Cartoons because they're stupid. All right, like Rob doesn't get it. All right, we know, Jason. They're dumb cartoons. Yeah. Also, Rob thought the dude from Fraggle Rock was Marcus from Indiana Jones. So
Yeah, Rob is face
fucking
blind.
Lucas talking shit, dude.
No, but I mean, but when you get down to it, like, yeah, you will be better off resubscribing when the shows that you watch come back on. If you are, loving everything that they make, if you're a Marvel and a Doctor Who and all that stuff, then it's offering you what you want. It's not really though that great for like me, for instance. I tried to watch the new Doctor Who thing. I couldn't go back to it. I'm not in that space for that kind of shit right now. I started it. I was like, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to. I don't want this. And I watched something else. And yeah, all of that stuff is just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't think what they're doing is the right way to go about it. But what do I know? Thank you for the $15 super chat, Sundowners Club. That's really, really generous. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
He says, Happy New Year's, guys. Jason, are you covering Star Wars back in the prequel era? Wait, were you covering back in the prequel era days on your website? I'm trying to remember how long I've been reading your stuff. Anyways, keep up the good work. No, back in
yes
the
and no. Yes and no.
No, I mean, I was involved in like internet Star Wars fandom since the prequel times. Like since probably like I think like the first thing I ever got, like back in the day, most people didn't have computers at home and I couldn't afford one. So I got like my first job and I bought a web TV. And then I used to that's what I used to use. Yeah.
And to be honest, it hasn't improved much until Tom gave you a decent computer. So let's be honest.
Oh, well, no, I mean, to be honest, the web TV experience was better than the shitty AOL experience that most people had.
Most people would have took that fat Force Awakens money and bought the greatest rig in the world, and you got the shitty Airbook,
Hey.
Thanks, Jason.
No,
good way to invest.
My 2014 Mac, which is kind of what I was using when I started making Star Wars. I think I started a 2013 Mac, was so much better than the one I got in 2018. Like it lasted so much longer. I mean, my drummer has it, and like we just use it for when I send him music that we're working on. So that way he could review the Logic profile. So that's why he keeps it. It still runs better than that one from 2018, 2019. It's wild. But today's show is brought to you by Tom's Computer. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I've been around, in the vile days of the internet where all of our edgelord comedy would get you canceled today, get you James Gunned down in the street. But yeah. So I would say though, in actuality, as like a real content creator of Star Wars stuff, that would probably be 2013. I think. And
yeah, but I've been perusing the internet since 1991. So I was there. I mean, the AOL Prodigy CompuServe days. CompuServe.
Yeah, we did that. We had that in school. We had that. We had Prodigy. Yeah. So I remember like loading up StarWars.com in '97. For the fucking special edition trailer.
Force.net had that was when that shit started, right? It was
I know.
96, 97 around there.
Force.net is like that it's like that patient that's like brain dead. It's the Terry Schiavo of Star Wars websites.
Oh no, Jason. Oh no.
Fuck you.
Hey, remember when Republicans wanted to kill people, right?
Yeah.
They're so pro-life. Go look up Terry Schiavo.
Yeah, it is though.
That's why when Santa brings up pro-life, I'm like, you got careful, Santa. Terry Schiavo, careful.
I am loving the Chris Spreezy's marketing blunder here thing that he's doing. Number one, Chris Spreezy has started a YouTube channel and he's going to stream on it, and you could follow him there. But then you look up at his name, and I'm like, what the fuck are you? What is that name? I only know it's you from your picture. I don't. Is this like? What is that? You need to change your name to Star Wars Spreezy.
Oh wait,
that's a pro tip number one, Spreezy. Change your name on all your socials to what your channel name is, because whatever the fuck that says on the top there, I am too stupid to read, too ignorant and too dumb. I don't even know how to go about it.
It's all Greek to me.
You said it. Chris Claremont is not asleep. No, he's fucking writing.
He's
He's writing the Real Willow sequels.
He's still trying to find a place to shop the Sovereign Seven. Huh?
Hmm?
Huh? Is Paul out there? Can I get? Huh? All right.
I don't know what you're talking about, nerd.
I know. That's some nerd shit right there, Jason. Just like
yeah. Love you, Paul. What happened to special features during the Royal Fino says Blu-ray digital era as a crime? They took Film School 101 away from cinephiles and may have hurt media literacy by skimping on special features for digital. Number one, I agree with you in that I want it back. But also, in my opinion, all it actually did was make a bunch of people think that they went to film school and that they could make movies and that they're all hypercritical of films on the internet and they don't know what they're talking about. That's kind of
but it is an opportunity to actually do even more, to go more cinematic in that route and really show people what previs actually looks like. Because the problem, this is a conversation that Hugo's Desk has been having. Go watch their channel. Is that
how dare they?
The guy that runs that, I mean, they're professional working VFX artists and compositors.
How dare
they've been noticing
unmask the magic. You know, a magician never tells.
Especially even on Maverick, Jason's favorite movie, that they were doctoring behind the scenes shots to create, to take out things that were CGI.
We knew that.
We could say there was no
we
CGI.
knew that though, because we were like, this isn't making sense. Do you remember that? We had the conversation.
Yeah, you were like, is this in the front and the back? I'm like, this makes no sense because he was in the back and they recomposited him in the front and edited his. I know. But luckily they were able to go.
It works. So I'm fine with that, but you don't need to, pull the wool over the visual effects fans' eyes.
Yeah, but do go check out. Was it 2 weeks ago? Was World VFX Day? They streamed.
Is that the homeboy who paints his face gray, like a metallic? Is that the same?
No, that's
visual effects
channel.
Oh, okay.
No. Hugo's Desk is no. There's no paint, makeup, or anything like that. They do a
will
really good job.
Will you paint me gray? Will you paint me like silver? Like I'm a silver.
I'm not touching your body. Like you've been trying to get me, Jason, for a year now. And, and sending me lube.
I don't pay you, so you're not an employee. I could like do it all I want.
You're right. You don't pay, but you do. You save my ass in Fortnite quite a bit.
True, I do put you over the back like a blushing bride and take you over the threshold and revive you whenever you need it.
Yeah, you backdraft me, and I appreciate it.
No, I am with Royal Fino though, in the sense that it used to. Like what I think happened was it started with, how do we incentivize people to buy our thing? Like what are we going to give them? And I think the digital bonus copy ended up taking over from the special features. And I do like that. No, I do appreciate having the digital bonus copy.
DRM digital bonus bullshit. No, I don't like it.
When you got it on, no, that's what year are you in? This is like iTunes 2000.
Yeah, that's when I was like, fuck this shit. I just ripped my own. I just ripped the Blu-rays, dude.
We're in a whole different world. We've been in a different world for years since that shit.
I flexed my own shit. I never went back. Yeah.
That's way more work. But
once you got it all set up.
Well, my like whatever you want to call it, like my digital, I don't know, strategy was a good one for me, anyways. Voodoo had a thing where when you owned the physical disc, you could put it into a disc drive, which is hard to get now. But you would put it in there, and then it would be like, it would check that you owned it. And then you could buy it from them, and it was like $2 for like the digital upgrade to the digital version. So what I was doing is I was going to secondhand stores, buying every movie for like $1, coming back, putting it in there, getting it for $2, and then going and then trading the pile back in, and getting more credit.
That's way more
doing
work, Jason, than me.
No, it was easy. But I have like 400 digital movies right now, and I haven't really lost any yet. Oddly, the only thing I've lost was a girlfriend wanted to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I bought that one so she could watch it. And then like the rights changed, and I did lose that show though, because I think they like changed networks or something. But yeah, Rick Jones says, I was such an X-Men comic snob, I didn't like the X-Men cartoon. Ironically, the X-Men cartoon is my X-Men. I didn't like the comics. I felt like you had to read and look at too much stuff to get to the story. Like, I actually appreciate the text and
If you like
comics.
the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont stuff, the cartoon gave you a bunch of storylines that actually made sense because the Jim Lee shit was all over the place, and Chris
Yeah.
Claremont didn't want to do half the fucking things, and it was a nightmare. But the X-Men cartoon takes that look and feel and makes a consistent storyline out of it. I would say though, Jason, I was not a fan of the animation, which is why I'm loving X-Men 97 because I know the animation is going to be dope. We're going to finally get that story meets good animation. But you compare X-Men, the X-Men 90s cartoon to Batman the animated, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Back in Sundowners Club says you were around sites like Jedi Talk and others around during the Attack of the Clones, right? No, I don't remember Jedi Talk. I remember that there were sites like I was primarily a T-Bone Star Wars universe guy.
Yeah, T-Bone.
Like that was the guy who I liked. That was my number one. First, there was this guy named Red 5 during like the early prequel stuff, and he had some like scoops. Yeah, and then he like jumped out, and then it was like all about. And then T-Bone was like the my favorite of the leakers at the time. I'm not a huge fan of the term leaker. I feel like I'm fucking walking around pissing my pants or something. Especially because I don't leak. Like it's weird. We get called like I get called a leaker, but what is the person who told me then? Like I don't know. It doesn't.
You're a scooper. They're the leaker.
That's what I think. Yeah. And anyways though, yeah.
They're the pitcher. You're the catcher.
There we go. Hey,
I
I like to consider myself like the power bottom of spoilers. You know what I mean? That's what I want. That's how I want to be known.
Spreezy. Yeah. Get that name for your show.
Spreezy, power bottom of spoilers.
Come on, I'm telling you. There's a whole audience out there you have yet to tap into.
Spreezy's law. I'm the power top of spoilers.
He's got the looks.
He's got the fucking hair. But once he cuts it, like Samson, we take him down, you know?
He's got the looks. He's got the looks. He's got the looks.
Yeah, and then I mean, I jumped around. I remember for Attack of the Clones leaks coming out of like Aldera for something called Aldera for like a little time, but anyways, yeah, and then I ended up gravitating more towards Chud because you could like read film stuff, and they were an okay film thing for a while. Kind of fallen off in modern times.
I wasn't a Chud guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read this at the time I was reading T-Bone's Digital Bits, Dark Horizons.
Yeah, Dark Horizons was one, but he quickly turned on Star Wars by Attack of the Clones, and like he felt he was there for like, the prequels. Yeah,
we turned at the same time. Yeah,
no, there is nothing more boring than a content creator who's like not into what they're doing. So I respect the fact that he just like got out of it. You know what I mean? Like that's that's where it goes. But at the same time, I think it was a huge mistake because I think that's why we were actually there.
I think I pretty much just let Ain't It Cool News deal with my Star Wars news by Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah, and then of course Reddit Ain't It Cool News, but then the talkbacks were insufferable because once again it was full of a bunch of dudes who watched the special features on something and thought that they were also film scholars.
It gave us Kevin Smith's bit, which is the ending to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, I did appreciate that.
Without the talkbacks, you don't get that ending. And that ending.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, but I do agree with it to like a large extent. Like, I know people who've gone to film school and gone on to become like very big, successful people in the field. And it's like they all pretty much say like, yeah, in your undergrad, you're just watching movies. It's not film school's not really worth it. You know what I mean? But they're like, when I got to grad school, that's where I started to learn a little bit more about the science. And that's where it gets more into and that's where you separate the like really good DPs from the ones who kind of got lucky just finding the light, trying to copy, but the people who actually do it like down to a science. It's two different like kinds of breeds of creatives though, I guess.
Well, Kevin Smith talked about how, him and Mosier went to this like Full Sail type thing where it was like, you spend $5,000, we're gonna make a film. It's like, well, I could spend $5,000 and not do all this shit, like I could just make a film instead of learning how to make one. So that's kind of how that got started. Is whoever finished the script first, one would direct and one would produce, and Kevin finished first.
Right.
I would say that maybe though, Kevin hitting a limit on what he was like able to write about, right?
Mm-hmm.
It had to do with the lack of actually being challenged in an educated space against film critique. Like, had he taken all of his film knowledge and sat in a room and been challenged by a professor in some way to carry out motifs and explore different things, perhaps there would have been a greater depth there, beyond just like surface level stuff, right? I'm a huge fan of it, but I do think like Red State may have been an even better, more widely accepted film had he had the tool set to go further, right? Like you can see him really trying with that one, right? But it's like he needs, I'm not saying Paul Thomas Anderson, but he needs something more along the Green Knight, like that kind of skill set to carry that out, I think.
Yeah,
like,
that's 100%. Like when you get down to it, like Kevin Smith, as far as he was going to go naturally on his own observation and stuff like that, was we saw it. We saw like how far it went, and it was fine. I mean, I think he had a great career. I think he did
well,
good,
forced
did
him
good
to
work and stuff
find
like
his
that.
oration, his
But
ability to speak, right? Like really transcended that. So like,
but also like somebody in his position still could have got and still could have grown a lot and just didn't. Like, and I would just chalk that up to laziness as well as working and being busy. It's weird. It's like doing work is still lazy because you're not growing, but the guy worked the whole time, so you can't call him lazy. But he intellectually did not further his moves, his palette, his repertoire of
I
of
do
things
think
he could
there's
do
a
as a director.
problem. I do think there's a problem where when you're trying to do all your growth in a
Yeah.
commercial space. So he would say probably, and I'm speculating, but
I
I've
agree
listened
with
to
you.
enough Kevin Smith speak. He would say, well, why go back to college or why do this to learn it when I could just write a movie and learn it on the job? And it's like, no. That yeah, we're all learning on a job in some sense. But when you're the writer direct, you're coming forth with a message. It has to come fully formed on some level. Like, okay, like the guy who did American Fiction was a journalist and a professional writer for quite the long time. Never directed a thing before he directed that film, right?
Okay.
So yeah, he had to learn, but it's a $4 million budget, right?
Right.
When you're your 13th film in and you're trying to like change a skill set, maybe you take a step back a bit, right? Like I don't know, and like don't have the pressure of having to return on these investments.
Yeah.
Because that return, it really does hamper your ability to take certain risks, right? Or to fail in a meaningful way. So like I mean, yeah, there are meaningful fails and there are, I fucked that one up and that ruined my whole career failures,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well,
And
it's a lot like in music too. Like you see our artists, they come in, they get like very comfortable with their four chords and what they do, and then maybe they'll work with the right producer who takes them out of the comfort zone, and it ends up like actually being like a growth moment for them, where you're like, oh wow, you made this amazing like album or whatever. Kevin Smith never did that though. That's where I find him. Like I like him because I think he's like in a weird way he's like a folk hero of nerdy fat guys. He fucking did it. You know what I mean? He went and like made his movies. He made a fucking lot of movies too. So there's like no reason to like be like, oh god, you're a failure or whatever like that. But it's also like, yeah, that way that you did it is a successful capitalistic take on it, right? But was it artistically gratifying, like making Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back look just like kind of like Mallrats all those years later, essentially that kind of stuff? I don't know if it is.
yeah, I felt the real
But
growth would have been during the Clerks cartoon because
you love that Clerks cartoon.
Well, because look, I'll tell you one of the reasons why, beyond working with other writers and shit, is that because it was on ABC in the in 2000, 2001, around there, they couldn't do the crude stoner humor. You had to work around that.
Yeah.
And I just think that goes to show you, are these characters interesting without all those crutches? And the answer is yes.
Right.
They're even better, in my opinion. Jay and Silent
Yeah.
Bob get better when you take out the weed. You know what I mean? Like what
it is a
they're up
crutch.
to.
It can be a comedy crutch for sure, where it's just like,
And I feel the
oh,
same way, like
Snoochies
there's something there
Boochies, and you're like, yeah.
like when Lucas sets out to make a prequel and he's like, oh, I want to make like an Othello Frank Darabont thing. Yeah, I don't think he has a skill set to do that.
No, he did not. No,
Right.
he didn't. He didn't. Yeah, no.
Whereas Spielberg
Unfortunately.
did. Spielberg did have that ability, which is props to Spielberg. I mean,
it's unfortunate that Lucas and Spielberg never could actually come together like for Star Wars. Couldn't like he could? I don't know. I'm curious why. In reality, I know that there's some Spielberg fucking like fluffy, powdery, puff pastry kind of answer about, oh, it's George's thing and I respect it. I just want to enjoy it and all. But in reality, why didn't those two make a record together? You know what I mean? Like,
do you think that it's just the 70s, like that is legit though? That comes from like, Jaws is seen as Spielberg's thing, even if someone else directs one.
I think Spielberg was never going to be able to have the complete control over the thing that Lucas had, and he knew that in doing so, it would probably destruct their friendship in some way and relationship, and that's why all we got was them hanging out playing with visual effects toys, and then like Lucas doing some of War of the Worlds,
like butter. Right.
While he did some of Revenge of the Sith. You know what I mean? Like, right. And it's just like, I think that's why it just ended up becoming like, it's like the guitar player who comes on and adds a couple of licks onto a song, but it's not really like, he didn't make the record with them. And but I think that's actually like ultimately unfortunate. Like, it would have been rad had they decided like, oh yeah, we're going to do the sequel trilogy together, or we're going to do the prequel trilogy together. And it's going to be like our thing that leads into the other thing I did, but Lucas would never want to do it. So I feel like I know the answer, but I think I know the answer is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, it would be nice to hear like the candid, like real, like what was up, Sundowners Club mentions, I remember it was like that Ryan Felipe and Jonathan Jackson had made final auditions for Anakin in Attack of the Clones, and then out of nowhere, Hayden got it. Yeah, and it was that right there was the classic case of what was to come in Hollywood in terms of what we were hearing were the people who had been turned down as if they were still prospects to get the client some of that Star Wars mojo going. And at the time, I think it actually like was pretty successful. Also, what's his name? Paul Walker from Fast and the Furious films was also in that top like cut, and but yeah, then Hayden got it. I remember when we started hearing Hayden, it was like, what? And everybody's like, he's a nobody, we don't know who he is. And then I remember thinking, I bet it's gonna be that guy, because we don't know who he is, because that was like George Lucas's thing, was get unknowns for the smaller roles. But to us, I mean, when you get down to it, like Ryan Felipe and like Jonathan Jackson at the time seemed huge for us. But when you look back at what their careers really were and what they really were, if you weren't like 20 years old at the time, they really were kind of footnotes. You know what I mean? They weren't that much bigger than, let's say, Hayden Christensen.
No, DiCaprio would have been the get. If DiCaprio wanted to do another big film, that would have been the one to get.
Yeah, the problem with DiCaprio, from what I had heard, was the guy who made Train Spotting and Ewan McGregor were like brothers, and they come up in Hollywood together. Train Spotting is their big break and everything, and then he fucked him over for The Beach, and Ewan McGregor was supposed to be the star of The Beach, and he gave it to what decided to go with DiCaprio. I don't remember if they ever worked together again. For years, I know they didn't work together. I don't think they ever did. or maybe it was on Trainspotting 2 that yeah, I guess it would have been until Trainspotting 2, which is not good. And
what a movie to get
so
up in arms over the
so
beach. You know?
yeah, anyways though, there was I had heard that one of the downsides to DiCaprio, amongst also Titanic and stuff like that, it was James Cameron was already working with him and stuff, was that Ewan McGregor at the time wasn't too keen on the idea. And so I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that from
Given how he
Lucasfilm
ran
cats.
Kenobi, I believe it.
He didn't run Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, he ran it.
No,
right
he
to the
didn't.
ground.
He got a fucking producer's credit for showing him.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the way it seems. But anyways, the Sundowners Club. No, Ewan McGregor is cool. But that was back when Ewan McGregor was still kind of a light alcoholic. I don't know if he would say that, but he was going to interviews drunk all the time and misspeaking, getting into fights with Sean Connery and shit, like back in the day.
Why can't we make a movie about that?
It was funny. Yeah. I remember like Sean Connery said something about Scotland, and then his response was like, I don't want to hear anything from somebody who hasn't fucking lived there for 30 years or something like that. It was some like thing like that. It became like a big problem. And it was always, and I remember interviewers knowing to buy Ewan McGregor beers, and then it would get him going, and it became a thing. So he stepped away from the drink eventually. So that was like 1997, 1998 kind of times.
Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I'll never forget it. Yeah. T-Bone Star Wars show. Yeah. He did even better on Attack of the Clones, because what they were doing with Attack of the Clones is they were filming stuff, and back then the call sheets had like parts of the script on it and stuff like that, like what the description of the scene, blah blah blah. People were throwing it into the trash as they were filming, and people were just digging it out and giving it to him. And he said, I believe T-Bone said they were looking into suing him because he was actually posting the scripts, and that was a really big informative thing for me. Was paraphrase, always paraphrase.
Hey, I got a question.
Is legal. Yeah.
I got a question about you. This is some insider like shop talk, right? So I was watching the old Hot Mic yesterday, and they were talking about Daniel RPK and that whole like James Gunn saying that some Batman rumors weren't true and he had to walk it back. And Snyder said that Daniel was trusting quads or
grids.
Like grids. What is a grids? What does that mean? I don't understand what that means.
Okay, so what it is that there are these like database style, like remember I can't remember what that site was called. Oh, the Illuminati. Remember when they were posting stuff about Willow and a couple of things about Acolyte? So what they're doing is they're gleaning the casting grids. And what happens is those are what go out to people like talent agencies who have actors. So they'll be like, yeah, we're making a movie called, Little Bob. It's about a boy named Rob, and they never say his name right. And so we're looking for like, boys of this size and height and age and all that kind of stuff. And then so you could sometimes glean some stuff from that. Like for instance, one of the first casting grids, not one of the first ones, but one of the first things I knew about Kenobi filming in the UK was from the casting grid. And the moment I knew Luke and Leia were in it were from the casting grid, because they were looking for the description matched Luke and Leia. And I was like, this really sounds like Luke and Leia. And as
you have to do a lot of inference based on that. Basically.
Yes. And most of the time, like, this is where they will get where they will go wrong. So what ends up happening is they will go, oh, this sounds like who's that? The anthropologist or the archaeologist Asian character. It's like an anthropologist in Star Wars who goes around
Dr.
like hunting Dr. Aphra. I've seen scoopers come out about 3 times and say a Dr. Aphra thing is happening. You want to know why? Because they were casting Sabine. When they were seeing the actors for Sabine, that's where the Dr. Aphra stuff came in. I was just kind of laughing about it when it was happening because I was like, you guys are so dumb. But it does that. So but it can be like the Willow ones were very informative. They were like, oh, it's it's like a twin, and it's about trying to save the kidnapped. All that stuff came out of the casting grids. So some of that stuff can be really, really useful, but it could also be coded. It could also be deceptive. Sometimes it'll be like it's a character like Arnold in the Terminator, and then people will be like, oh, it's a Terminator. It's like, no, it's like Arnold in the Terminator. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what they end up doing with Star Wars is, and with stuff like that, is they just go, oh, that sounds like so and so.
Like in
For the
Stranger
record,
Things
I
season
don't.
4, when they cast a guy, they're looking for a guy like Arnold. Literally, they're casting a Terminator guy.
Okay.
I could see if you were just going by grids, you might think Arnold's going to be in Stranger Things, right?
Or you might think it has robots in it, or so, who knows? I mean,
right.
There's all kinds of ways you could take the text to literally, because it's not meant for public consumption. It's like, oh, we're supposed to look at it and go, oh, our client Chris Breezy has great hair. Oh, this guy's ready to play, Samson in the Samson and Delilah biopic. And then so we would obviously contact Disney and then start the talks and get him the audition, and then that's where they would fill us in. This isn't really Samson and Delilah, it's Tarzan or whatever it happens to be. And so that's where the mistakes probably come from. But for the record, I don't really follow the Daniel RPK situation, so I don't know exactly what happened there. I just know there was like a bunch of characters and James Gunn was like, nope, or something like that, right? That was the gist of it.
Yeah, Professor Pig.
Yeah, so
I was just curious about what I know what following casting means. I didn't know it was called grids.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah. Like it's essentially like almost like an Excel like spreadsheet situation where you're just like, oh, which clients of mine add up with this shit, and then you go kind of like figure it out. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, you learn something every day, right, folks?
It's true.
Right?
But yeah, it is in my opinion, it's sort of like, it's very informative. I've used them, definitely have used them, but I've never used them as a primary source, like for a scoop. Like when I could show the do I have the Luke and Leia one still? I have to see if I might have it on me. Because I was explaining casting grids to somebody not long ago, and I was like, here's one. Wait. I think I might have got rid of it. I know I have it somewhere, but I'll have to try to find it. The person who I showed it to sends me way too many pictures of like Ghostbusters figures and stuff. So
me?
Like, not you on that one, somebody else. And
that's a big coincidence.
Yeah. Well, no, because I was getting the stuff because the Ghostbusters with the eyes that popped out that get scared, that leaked like before those. And so they were, so yeah. So I was like, but Wesley Snipes used to hop on the Chud forums. That's where I told him he didn't have to pay his taxes if he didn't want to. So
good move, Jason.
My fault.
Good move. You saved us from Blade 4.
Sundowners Club says, that's the perfect part. I don't get it all covering something you hate. When content creators do that, it tells me that they only care about clicks and or dollars and not the audience or what they love. Yeah, that's what like, I mean, that's what happens though, is you end up becoming reliant upon the thing that you've been making the cash off of. And then, at one point you might be out. Like with, I don't know, Star Wars, your enthusiasm at a 10 when they're announcing The Force Awakens, but by the time you got all of that satiated, that love still needs to be there, or you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, you named your kid Luke, so you're hosed if you hate Star Wars, right? Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm good, because no matter what, I'm good with that one, until I saw not my Luke Skywalker. But
well, my mom would do. She'd be like, I fucking name you after this stupid character.
See, Sam asked a question. He says, would it be fair to say that Lucas didn't have full control over what he wanted Star Wars to be? I mean, in terms of like, yeah, in terms of like, he didn't get to make it in a vacuum. Nobody got to say, okay, George Lucas, here's like 10 years. Go sit down and write all 6 films and work it all out and then go make them, like that kind of thing. He was compromising as he went. And then, but also with Lucas, his mind changed over time. Like, no, there's no way that the same guy in 1974 was thinking the same thing in 1995, like about his own work. He was a different person. So it's like so yeah, I think it's fair to say, but I would also say in terms of making films for mass consumption, I don't know if I could think of many people who had the control over 6 films that he ended up having in totality. So it's not necessarily like something to cry about for him. I do think that the prequel films, the only control that he didn't have was what he relinquished, and it was when he buckled on concepts like Jar Jar, and then also he ended up, I think, being so infatuated with the character of Padme that he couldn't do her dirty as he intended to, but in the end, kind of did the character a little bit dirty in the process, accidentally, by not having the courage to do what needed to be done. You know what I mean? That sounded like a Palpatine thing, right? But it's true. Like, he needed Padme to start the Rebel Alliance, to turn on Anakin, and then to be murdered. And then he came up with the point of, oh wow, I'm kind of making Anakin into a wife beater. Well, it's like, if the idea is that Darth Vader kills her, kind of, but also I don't think it's the same kind of concept.
No, Jason, no. The problem is I was going to have her enact martial law across the galaxy.
Is that when she divorces Anakin and then takes half of his empire?
Yeah, right.
Does that hit close to home, George?
Rick wouldn't let me do it. He pulled the Rick card. Can't.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, couldn't do it. Sorry.
Yes, the director was Danny Boyle. I don't know why I'm brain farting on that today, but yeah. So now said DiCaprio also said somewhere that he wanted a script and to be involved more in the process, and Lucas was never going to do that. 100%. Like, at that time, I think without Titanic, we could have got DiCaprio. But also, I never liked the idea of DiCaprio because he was so big. He was so famous. It was clear he was gonna be a star, and that it wasn't gonna fade. It was gonna be like he was gonna be in it for the long haul. And back then it was even harder to get canceled. So we were like, what could ruin this guy? Women love him. He's talented. Like, he's in, man. He's good. But had we got that today, we wouldn't be able to get him on a Disney Plus show. You know what I mean?
You know what? Good. Good. It hasn't helped. A 40-year-old pretending to be 16 has not helped in these series.
Rob, we just got fucking Star Wars Ahsoka with maybe the best Hayden Christensen Anakin performance of all time.
No, we could have. No, you
yes,
just defake them.
Yes.
It's easy to defake now. Like whole Star Wars channels.
They were never gonna. They wouldn't be able to.
Films defake actors now, Jason. You can do anything you want, right? Doesn't matter.
No, they would never. It would have been worse. That's why. No, in reality.
Do you think if he cast DiCaprio shows up in his Gilbert Grape mode? Do you think he like fucks with Lucas that day?
That's his Darth Vader burned up mode. He's like, well, yeah, but he had a brain injury, right? When he got hit right here with the lightsaber. When he got hit with, you're the one you pitched it. You pitched it.
Well, he was in a movie. I would say do not reenact that yourself. Very careful.
Yeah, but No, but anyways, that's where I'm like, I'm a fan of them going with the no-name actors in those parts for that reason. Like, Daisy Ridley, if she had taken off, and she was
but no-name actors who can act.
What's that?
No-name actors who can
like Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, like that kind of brilliant acting.
Yeah, they could act. In those roles, they could act.
They could
in
not
those
act.
roles, they could. In those roles, they could act.
No, the bar for Star Wars acting is really.
No
really
one complained about General Dodonna's acting. He did good for what he needed him to do.
Yeah. Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is he?
Huh? What?
But we're talking about like with your protagonist characters. you're never going to be a Star Wars protagonist and be a huge fucking star. That's never not like you're not going to be Luke Skywalker and do it. And we've now seen it with Mark Hamill, Hayden Christensen, and Daisy Ridley. And so it's that's why like I'm of the opinion who's the actor who plays Deadpool?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that Ryan Reynolds is the lead in that movie that what's his name is making. And like I'm
Sean
like
Levy?
and Sean the Sean Levy Star Wars film, Levy. Is it Levy or Levy? I don't know. Whatever. Leaving me alone. But we're about to lose Instagram. So if you're watching on Instagram, come over and watch us on YouTube. It's going to cut you off right now. Bye. Anyways, yeah, and that's like the first time I think if that's what happens, that we see a protagonist who was a big Hollywood actor, like in a Star Wars movie. And, it just means the prospects of it beyond that are very small, and that the idea of them coming back becomes less likely, and so on. And, but what we have when we have a Daisy Ridley is, yeah, you're known as Rey, and that's what you're always going to be. And if you are good with that, we're good with that. That's great. Because with Star Wars never ending, that's what we actually want. We want people who are going to be available. So like whenever people
I think if you take that role and you get paid enough, then yeah. If you're not getting paid enough to like not have to work again, you better start thinking about directing and writing. Like, or because you get behind the camera.
Yeah, making your own indie movies at least, where you are getting your
Greta
artistic.
Gerwig was an actress, right?
I don't know.
What she
I don't
was
know anything
doing.
about her.
She was an actress. That's why like
I like Barbie a lot, but I also think Barbie is massively overrated. I think it's actually a very ugly looking film.
Okay. Well, I haven't watched that or Oppenheimer, so I don't. It looks,
but yeah. No, well, you should. I mean, you should watch them. They're both good movies. They're both good movies. Like, objectively, they're good. They're good films.
It's everyone wanting me to do it. That's the problem.
Nobody actually cares about you, Rob. Nobody wants you to watch it.
I know, Jason. You're just confirming everything I've told my therapist for the last 20 years. Right? Like,
I'm kidding, but I do. Sure. I do think you would enjoy the movies one time. I don't think they're like movies to make a lifestyle out of or something.
No, they're no Mission Impossible.
Hey, I watched a few minutes of one the other day. I thought,
oh yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, it's Hollywood movies. Christopher McQuarrie. Skywalker's got to be
second. Give me a second.
Okay. Covering what you hate isn't the issue. Covering what you hate about what you claim to love is controversy, and controversy sells. Theory wants to create all these Star Wars fan films, but they won't let him near the likeness. Oh yeah, I saw like a little bit of that. I'm a little bit like, who gives a shit? I mean, yeah, Mark Hamill sold his likeness many times. Should you do it? No, probably shouldn't. He claims he doesn't make money off of it, but he's going to make money off of it because his channel is going to get millions of views off of the video when he puts it out on there. So all of it's to me is a big, like, who gives a fuck kind of thing, I just don't care. I don't even know why people care about what some Andrew Tate guy, what his take is on Star Wars. I mean, all of his takes are fucking dumb anyway. Anyways, eventually the kids growing up with Disney Star Wars will squash it. Oh, okay. I didn't even mean to read that. I thought that was something else. Skywalker Company says, "Oh, I've been on sub." Oh, you're still going on. Okay, I thought that was something else too. Here it is. Sam says, "I will quote Eminem's response to reactors hating on him. What's your talent? Oh, critiquing my talent." Yeah, it's true. But at the end of the of like all of that stuff, should you make fan films? Well, if you respect copyright law and that kind of shit, the answer is actually no. Should the powers that be have complete control over our culture? Is our culture entirely for sale because of copyright law? It is, but only if we allow it to work that way. So yeah, it's a complicated like situation, but there's so many bigger problems in the world that it just doesn't really get me. Yeah.
If you took a scene from some Shakespeare thing, right, and you just redid all that, but with Star Wars props, what do you call that?
Wait. Say it again. Sorry, I
Like if you
lost
were
you.
like, I'm going to take a scene from Henry V, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Macbeth or whatever,
Yeah.
word for word, line for line, but you said it on the Death Star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or you said it in the throne room, and you had those characters act that play out, but you did all the visuals like Star Wars. What do you
Mm-hmm.
call that? Is that a fan film?
No, that's called it. It's called homage.
See, do that.
It's always an homage when the powers that be do it. But no, there is there is a difference though. I mean, in the sense that it's the characters who are being reused. It's the characters that are the IP issue, and the likeness
Right.
in that
All
one.
right.
The actual
That's
like
true.
Mark Hamill's likeness, and
Yeah, when I did my own
on one
Star Wars
hand,
fan film, I didn't write one character in there from
yeah,
you know,
right.
pre-existing anything. Like that was the trick.
But
But I get it.
yeah, because a part of me goes, yeah, Mark Hamill sold his likeness down to little idol figures that we worship as gods, to doing it just last year to be Luke Skywalker as a young man again. So I'm like, so on one hand, there's a part of me that's like, well, yeah, your likeness is for sale. But then there's the other part of me that's like, but he also was involved. He was like, you have my likeness, but here's how I say it. Here's how I do it. And the performance needs to live up to my likeness. And so there was that part of it. Yeah, I do think though deep faking people against their consent is morally
Bullshit.
wrong. Yeah, it
Morally
is.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, like when those one guys were doing it to like make like George Lucas jokes, like I did appreciate it. I thought it was funny. At the same time, the idiots who thought it was real, I think is kind of the dummies kind of ruined the fun on that. But you know, I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the fan film concept in the sense that like where it's like released and stuff like that. I
Well,
would rather
films are
people make
so
their own sci-fi story inspired by Star Wars as an independent thing and then see what happens. Like that's more interesting to me, but who cares what I
films are
think?
so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Films are so difficult, dude. Like it's different than say doing a comic or anything else. I mean, it just requires so many people, so many moving hands that I'm like, at that level of effort, right? Like my the thing I wrote was never going beyond an animatic. Like that was my whole point. I just wanted to do a
Mm-hmm.
storyboard animatic, right? Like and learn timing. And I quickly learned, Jason, I couldn't draw spaceships, so I threw it all away and sat down and taught myself how to draw. The minute I had to move a spaceship in 3 dimensions by hand, right? Like
Yeah.
actually do, I was like, I can't do. I don't understand how to draw in a volume. I didn't even understand how to describe the term drawing in a volume. That it was
Yeah.
not a phrase that I got my head around. So
Right.
like you learn your limitations. I think if you're trying to make a film, you do like anyone else. If you're legitimately trying to learn filmmaking, do like anyone else. You do a 5 to 10-minute, preferably 8-minute short thing that you can do on a festival circuit. Like that's it. They don't want
Yeah.
anything over 15 minutes in those festivals. So if you're like, I'm making a 90-minute long Star Wars fan film, you're out your fucking mind. Like you
Right.
gotta be batshit crazy. I figured I could do mine in about 32 minutes. You know what I mean? Like all things considered, maybe 48 if you do like slow motion anime pan shots. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
those where you drag
okay.
out, you know.
Here's the issue. Okay, so like here's the way I see it. Like, Shogun Orda writes, "Thank you for the super chat, Shogun. Gave a 5 and a 2. Says, I wonder what might happen if Star Wars theory movies get too good. Paramount chomped on Star Trek Xananar. Is that what it is? Is it a Xanar? I don't know how that's said.
Yeah, I think
Xanar.
Axinar. That's the
Axanar.
one that Robert Meyer Burnett worked on.
For
The
that
whole
very
mission.
reason, but theories vids are short. Yeah, that's the whole thing. The issue I would see, or the issue I would take up with it if I had one. I honestly don't care, but is that he spends his career telling Star Wars that it's dog shit and here's why you didn't give me the instant gratification of what I want. And then he goes and he makes the short instant gratification. But the instant gratification is not sustainable as a series or a movie or anything like that. And so it just becomes like, here's a trailer essentially about why I am better and why, and then that allows to hate rally against the thing that he professes to love. And so that's the grift. That's the bullshit like around it. And then that's where I'm like, yeah, if he was like some like just Star Wars fanboy that was just like fucking everything that's good that they do, and then here's my thing and like wanting to do it, I'd be like, yeah, there it is. But when you look at like what is actually happening, whether he means to do it that way or not, I have no fucking idea. I don't care enough. I don't pay attention. Because I mean, if your answer is just like Anakin's cool every time, it's like fucking boring. It's not for me. But that's what's happening. Is he goes out and he critiques about, says why it's not right, what, you know, why it's shit and why it's crap, and then goes and then makes the thing that answers the situation he's now created. And then that's playing to the dummies in the audience. And then he goes out and then it's like validation. And then he gets that, but then he makes a bunch of money off of it and then acts like, oh, I don't make any money off of this. And it's like, no, you're making a lot of money off of it. You're making a ton of money off of it. So, but at the end of the day, if he does that, they want to pay him for it. And I don't give a fuck. If he wants to go out and say Star Wars is dumb all day, also don't give a fuck. Because it's just, you know, it's a big so what. And, you know, the work on that one movie, that Darth Vader one he did, is good work. I also found it just entirely vapid and soulless. And it's not something I would want on Disney Plus either. So it's, you know what I mean? It is what it is, you know? It's like, yeah, it's an impressive fan film, but also it's not like it's made for on a fan film budget either. It's very, very, very expensive because it's an ad for his channel. That's essentially what it comes down to. And yeah, I don't know what Lucasfilm does or if they do anything. I'm of the opinion that usually the right answer is to not say or do anything at all. Like James Gunn going up against the reporter who said some stuff about his thing. On one hand, I'm like, it's kind of cool that like the bullshit didn't get spread too far. I kind of appreciate that. On the other hand, it might be better for people if people paid attention. It would be good for them to go, oh, this person always says the wrong thing. I shouldn't listen to them anymore. And then when they say fucking Doc Ock is the main bad guy in the next Marvel movie, you just don't listen to them because it's like, who cares what they have to say? But that's not how the world works. The world works, Star Wars theory works, and Star Wars theory and those leakers all work on lying to you and telling you what you want to hear, even though you know it's not true. You know it's not likely. You know that it's not a very practical application of what's being said, but they're telling you what you fucking want to hear. And as long as we are that stupid, the internet's a fucking just, it's a waste. It doesn't do anybody any good.
I never tell anybody what they want to hear around here. Not even
right.
You.
No, but that's what I mean, my whole thing is like, let's just keep everything as grounded as possible. That's my whole thing is like, what is, you know, let's Occam's razor everything. What's the most obvious place this is going to go? And, you know, what's the most likely? And you know what I mean? Like, is Bad Batch, The Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew all coming out in January? Fuck no, nothing's coming out in January. You know what I mean? It's like that's, but the internet hears what they want to hear over and over again. They're lying to you. They don't believe what they usually are saying, you know? And the reality of the situation is the people who don't lie to you and don't tell you just what you want to hear are not rewarded though. And it's not manageable. It's not enough. So until the audience gets smarter, grows up a little bit. But unfortunately, I think for us, I think it will be this shitty by the time we're dead. I don't think it's ever going to get better for us. I think this is just
good time to start a channel, Spreezy.
Hey, Spreezy, I ain't gonna, but I'll promote your channel, Spreezy. But you start saying bullshit, I'm gonna laugh at you and make fun of you and
can't wait.
Hate you for your nice hair.
I'm gonna be like, he welches on beds.
Jonesy, channel member Jonesy, thank you for being a channel member. Always appreciate it, man. Do you think the CGI creation of Peter Cushing in Rogue One was morally irresponsible and John Knoll should have been sued? He was dead, and strictly speaking, could not have given his consent. Love you. So here's what I think is
I love
number
Johnny.
one. Well, no, like I come up with this a lot, like because I'm a huge Nirvana fan. And it's like, oh, you know, Kurt Cobain would have hated this. And Kurt Cobain put a gun in his mouth and killed himself. So he took his vote off the table because he could have been alive.
I had a lot of Super Mario World as well, though, Jason. I know that one.
Yeah.
Remember?
But the on the flip side of it, when you look at the guy Peter Cushing was, like I retweeted something the other day of him. He had like a room full of little models that he just fucking painted, all these little like soldiers and shit like that. Like he was a big man child in a wonderful way, not like the Michael Jackson way, like the good way. And so do I think for a second that he would be like against it? Probably not. But also his estate said yes. His estate was like, this is fine. This does not humiliate him. So in my mind, would, you know, if the estate says yes, then I kind of think that it becomes like, unless during their lifetimes people said never do that to me and then they do it. But I think most people would go, oh wow, they're going to use my likeness in a respectful way in a big Hollywood production after I'm dead because I'm a fucking legend and my family is going to eat off of that yes. So I don't see a lot of reasons why he would say no to it.
I accept this as the plot to Ghostbusters 4, that dead actors should come back. Harold Ramis should come back from the dead and sue them for using this likeness in Ghostbusters Afterlife. That would be, we get another courtroom scene from like Ghostbusters 2, which Jason will love. We can bring back
the Scoleri brothers.
The Scoleri brothers, and the
I love the Scoleri brothers
back from the dead because that guy died.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm just, you know, statistically speaking, the female DA, she's dead. I know that because I went on a hunt for her one day. I wanted to know what happened to her. Yeah, she passed away, unfortunately.
That's kind of scary, Rob. You're on a hunt for her.
Hey, huh? You know what I mean, Jason.
I know.
I'm on the hunt down after you. You know.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like I guess like the weird thing is people selling their likeness for commercial reasons throughout their life. Then their likeness is sold for commercial reasons after their death. It's not the biggest like fucking like, you know, I'm not having crocodile tears over it for him. You know what I mean? Like it's like kind of like they're all attention whores and they're getting more attention even in death. So most likely it's good. I think the difference though, like with the Mark Hamill thing is he's alive and so you can ask him. And the difference would be if he was dead, you could ask his estate for permission, or
and we really think fan filmers got the
permission they wouldn't. But there is like I don't know. I'm also of the opinion though that like when your budget on a fan film is like $1 million, it's not a fan film anymore. It's a commercial endeavor. If you and I are going out in the backyard, if we're going out into Joshua Tree with our sticks and our fucking GoPros, and we're like, and then like, you know, Chris Breezy's fucking rotoscoping and lightsabers, and we're fine, you know. But when it's like $1 million, is that a fan film anymore? I don't know. Like I said, I don't give a shit about the fucking Star Wars theory one way or the other. I don't like them. I don't hate them. I'm very don't give a fuck about it. So, you know, I'm not trying to like pick on him. He's already getting picked on enough for probably adequate reasons. I don't know. The Andrew Tate shit's kind of fuck you. Anyways,
I mean, it's literally a fucking sex trafficker.
Yeah, fuck that guy and fuck anybody who sticks up for him. Shale says, I'm getting sick of people online trashing Disney all the time. Ahsoka and/or Mando's 1 and 2, Bad Batch, Shells and Jedi are all great. Why all the hate? I can understand
show,
sequels,
buddy.
but that's no. That's no. I mean, no. At the end of the, I agree with you in the sense that these people, like the fandom, are a bunch of fucking entitled fucking babies about shit. Like when you look at the fact that they gave you Ahsoka and Andor in the same year. You got taken care of last year in some way. It doesn't, if you're a fucking 11-year-old, like, I just like lightsabers, you're fucking good, bro. If you need like golden age of television, fucking top tier drama, you were also good. And there's some shit in the middle there. So I do think that there is a little bit of entitlement where, hey, look at Rob. I saw you, Rob. I saw you for a second. Hey,
I
Filoni.
gave you the butts, Jason. I gave you the butts.
Rob.
Nobody
Rob.
gave you more Star Wars butts than me.
No,
Nobody.
Rob, take it off. Take it off. Don't do that, Rob. We didn't get clearance. We don't have the likeness clearance. What are you doing?
What? It's felonious.
What do you do?
Is it because of In-N-Out? We don't have clearance for In-N-Out. Is that it?
Oh, I got some clearance for In-N-Out today.
Yeah.
And you think it's only going to make me fatter, but it's less than McDonald's, so it's actually a diet food.
I
for
like
me.
how McDonald's is healthier than your normal diet. Like, In-N-Out is, like I'm somehow helping you. Like.
But no, I'm like, it's funny because I trash Disney because they are a silly corporation. I'll trash them all. But at the same time, most of the reasons that they are when they are trashing them for like those reasons. Oh, you didn't make me the one thing the way I like it. You didn't cut off the crust of my Star Wars. It's like fucking grow up.
You didn't cut out the crust.
That is how it kind of feels sometimes.
See, Jason, my mom was. I had a niece who looked like Heather O'Rourke, right? Lived in the Poltergeist house in Simi Valley and Cerritos, right? Very close to Simi Valley, same type of house, right? And my cousin, that's my cousin, she would not eat the fucking crust. And my mom was like, "You're going to fucking eat the crust no matter what." Wouldn't let her leave the table till she ate the crust, right? That's how my mom was. So I learned, I start the sandwich with the crust. I eat the crust first, right? And then I work my way around the sandwich, get all that crust off, and then I get to enjoy the soft sandwich. Come to find out, developed a real good taste for crust. Oh man, I just like the crust, man. Fuck all that bread shit. So
you're officially old and crusty now.
Huh? I know.
You're officially old and crusty.
I think these fans, that they gotta force themselves to just watch nothing but Jar Jar Binks all day, right? Right? You just start all this. I don't know where I'm going with this analogy.
No, Sundowner says, yeah, I just thought being a guest on people's streams because I just don't want to talk negative about stuff. Plus, as you grow as a YouTuber, you learn who the phonies are. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know
about if you're reviewing an episode, everything is good or bad. There's a difference between saying this worked and this didn't work for me, and here's what they were going for, and here's why I think they achieved it and didn't achieve it, versus this is Civil War race.
Listen, this isn't my Anakin Skywalker. He would completely finger blast Padme and kill her.
Whoa Mandalorian, right? Like those fucking things, right? Big difference. Big difference.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's like I don't know. I mean, you could tell when somebody's just continually picking up on a discourse and then fucking shaking it for change. I wish I could do it. I really wish I could. I just can't. I'm too
only you would
stupid.
be able to answer this. That's what I'm going to ask you. All right.
I'm sick.
Maybe Bespin, but I think you might be a little better equipped with this one.
Who the fuck is Bespin? I am Bespin Bulletin. Read about it online.
So I knew it. So
the answer is yes.
If they add Cara Dune to Fortnite tomorrow, how well you think it sells? Be honest. Nothing.
Unless we're talking about like people politically buying it and that it being a thing on Fortnite.
Sales.
No, I mean I would say Fennec Shand is more attractive, and the Fennec Shand one didn't really sell that well. So I would say she's on par with the Fennec Shand in terms of that stuff. So I would expect something around the Fennec Shand numbers. Does that seem like a fair? And the reason why I know the reason why I note attractiveness is that the attractive avatars are used more than the unattractive ones. Gina Carano's an attractive woman, obviously, and as is Fennec Shand.
You think she sells more than Zori Bliss?
Oh, I have now sold more than Zori Bliss.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw somebody asking somewhere, like it might have been like on a Reddit post or something. Was Zori Bliss only added into Star Wars so we don't think Poe is gay? And I was like, maybe. I was a little bit like, I saw that, I was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, you have his whole like, I had a smuggler past, and it's like, but why did they all of a sudden try to make Poe into Han Solo when Poe was being like created to be the next Leia? That was always a weird option for me in that story. So yeah, Shale says There is something called being audience captured. Star Wars Theory has been captured by his more conservative audience. Now he can't go back and like Disney stuff. His audience would be mad. Oh
They're
yeah,
giving
that's what
him
happens
too good a pass.
when you're an insincere grifter. That is literally that is the game.
He's not a
That's
hostage in Gaza, dude.
no.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
he's doing this on his own. He knows what he's
yeah.
doing.
And he's making a fuck ton of money at
You'll
it.
post Andrew Tate videos and be like, I was captured by my audience. I had to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's a weird situation. I don't understand. I don't understand why certain people are really popular now in Star Wars. To be clear, I don't think I am mainstream whatsoever. So I'm not saying that like, oh, I think it should be me, but there are other YouTubers I see and I'm like, that person should be huge and they're not. And then you're like, and that's what's big, you know? That's just kind of how I look at it. Like,
Does
I understand.
count?
Oh, Azatrue is pretty big. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Okay, so we're winning there.
Sundowners agrees with you, Rob. I was fine going on his stream and saying I didn't like Mando season 3 episode or Ahsoka, but then 4 months later it gets old talking about the same thing. Yeah, when you make what you dislike into your personality, it's fucking so boring. And the worst thing is when it's predictable. That's when it's like that's the fucking groan. That's the shit that gets you dumped in real life. Oh no, Azatru says my channel is dead now. I don't lie.
Yeah, but you got GTA 6 coming, dude. You know, you weather the storm. You're gonna do all right.
He is, but also, I mean, he's in a place right now where the Star Wars gaming thing isn't a big deal. Like we're not like in a moment for Star Wars gaming right now.
Outlaw. So, well, I guess Jedi Survivor didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Digital Foundry gave it one of the worst PC ports of the year award.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with that game is not that whatsoever. I put it on Xbox X, and I had a couple of annoying things like early on, like where the streaming was turned off. They didn't turn it on, like when it launched. But it's stuff that didn't really matter. I played through the whole game. No, I had one major bug moment in it, and today it's already fixed. So I don't see it as an issue. Shale says, I will say that a lot of people really hate Star Wars Theory. When people go too far and just hate on him nonstop, it's kind of weird. Yeah, that's the thing that I don't really dig about, like, there's like the pitchfork audience, you know, not the music reviewers. They suck too. But no, the people are like, oh yeah, let's get them, you know, like let's get them. Oh, whatever. There's no room for like nuance and stuff like that, you know, or whatever. But with the Star Wars Theory shit, it's a little bit like, yeah, I mean,
when you defeat Mark Hamill, you bring that on yourself.
Well, no, but water's wet, fire's hot. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
It's like this isn't like like fucking news to anybody. And I'm of the opinion that they're actually helping Star Wars Theory for what his direction is. Like, in my opinion, he's just moving towards the culture war stuff. Like, that's where he's going. And he's been courting that audience for years. It's very clear that he can't play his current thing. And as you said, you know, he is like sort of trapped in that. I don't have any fucking, you know, like I said, I don't have any sympathy for people who lie for a living or are insincere for a living. You know what I mean? And then are like, oh no, poor me. You know, I don't know if he's even doing that. So, you know what I mean? But he made his money. It's good. I just hope when he spends it all that he's happy, you know? Azure says, Survivor did very well for me, but no Battlefront means no mass of clone kids. Yeah, and like you always say, we need something that's like a live service to keep it sort of moving, to keep things going and to keep people.
We need the live service Star Wars game. We need the live service Star Wars game. We need the live service Star Wars game.
Yeah.
You say that 3 times and Bespin he disappears. Like he has to.
Yeah.
You can't take it, you know. I know.
Thank you,
Do you
Sam.
Do you really think people want a live service Star Wars game, Jason?
Yes.
Because they have one right now. It's called Knights of the Old Republic. You can go on and play it. Like, no one cares.
No, that, I mean, are you being serious or are you being facetious?
Both.
Well, okay, so I play the Old
Both are
Republic
true.
with my son. No, and it does not satiate authentic Star Wars. Like it's not. It's this derivative Star Wars
So
thing.
you want a live service Battlefront game is what we're talking about. Like, what do you
Whatever.
want?
Yeah, whatever that happens to like be.
Because look,
Yeah,
the problem with live service games are the minute you make one, that studio's trapped forever making it. So
it's not.
who
I don't know. They get trapped in their offices over the holidays and they can't get out. And then we got to talk about that for 10 hours. But that's all
but
I'm
I'm saying
saying.
like even like the Call of Duties still technically aren't like live service games, you know. So I don't know how you're supposed
Yeah.
to transformatively like change whatever tech you get. It's gonna be very difficult with Star Wars.
Well,
So Star Wars
there's
requires so many textures and photogrammetry and all that stuff. It's very difficult. It's not the same thing as like a Fortnite.
no. No, but it's also I also once again now I'm gonna pick on Disney again. I don't really have any sympathy for one of the biggest corporate entertainment corporations in the world and how difficult it might be to use your highly marketable, almost assuredly going to be a success if you don't fuck it up, kind of thing in that market. It's like it completely could happen. They just don't have their shit together on the gaming side to make it happen, and they have never had it together. I mean that's how it feels, anyways. Like Battlefront though, like where you keep putting stuff in the game, it's continually getting new characters or just new updates, things to follow, things to keep you playing and going back to it. I think it was Azatru. Was it Azatru who said it? Somebody like that. They kind of found that Battlefront was like a game that people played in between games. They played it when it came out, then they would go to another game and they come back to it, that kind of thing. And like that's where the live service stuff kind of works. That's how I play Fortnite. That's how Fortnite works for me. Same kind of scenario. And with Star Wars, there's just like nothing to follow. Like what do you call it? Fallen Order to what Jedi Survivor was practically almost an open world game. It was so close where if they were adding new quests and new things in it to it where I could play in those environments and on those planets and stuff, I would be doing it and I would gladly be happy to. If there were mission packs coming out and stuff like that, I would buy them or whatever it happened to be. But they just, yeah, they don't haven't done anything like that. And the thing that we have is that Fortnite clone game that's kind of coming out but it's probably not going to really be it either. You know, it's a mobile
Yeah,
game. What's it called?
I
Star Wars
would
Hunters. Star Wars Hunters.
hunters.
You know,
No.
yeah,
Look, I told you I felt for the longest time that either Battlefront or Star Wars Lego should just be a hub game where they add on like a pod racing and they add on all those things that you would have probably made, you know, back in the day individually. You just add on, and Fortnite seems to be doing that right now. Though I'm not the biggest fan of the racing controls, I
yeah.
do agree the spirit of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Star Wars would lend itself to it. The question really is, do they want to put that kind of time and effort into a game people are playing in between games? You know, like they tend to these studios, man, when they tend to do something, they're like, if we're not number one, we're number zero. You know, like they don't
Yeah.
really think, you know, in that space. Although they should be like, hey man, if this thing is churning out $100 million in profit every year, that's pretty fucking good. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it has a potential when the movies hit to turn out $1 billion. And I mean, like, why not? You know, like it's not
Yeah. It
harming the brand, you
in
know, like if anything, it's helping. So,
Yeah, if I were in charge of the Star Wars brand in like a bigger way than I already am, no, and if
oh,
I was
sure.
actually in charge of some of anything of it, what I would probably do would be to unite the video game sort of stories that go on like in what's that new one that's coming out with the girl with the little like dinosaur
Outlaws.
dog. Yeah, Outlaws. I would have the comics really be feeding into Outlaws. I would have like that way you could have like the stuff that's coming out in Outlaws, like updates that may come eventually, for instance, and the comic books sort of intertwine and that way you felt like you were kind of like living on uh some kind of shared continuity, but then it doesn't really fuck with the films, but it's hitting a big audience because like I mean that one that Jedi Outlaw or Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order, like it had like 30 million people or some shit like that. Some huge amount of people like were exposed to that. That's well big enough to support comic book tie-ins in meaningful ways because we're never going to get the comic book tie-ins to the films and the live action content in a meaningful way as around the time it happens. It's always going to be oh yeah, we've already done that. It's safe now. You may tread. That's how it works. But if it was in this video game kind of way, then something starts not working out, you could change the game. You could fucking fix it into the canon if you needed to. It's more malleable. It's more fluid. And so that's where I would probably take this if I were them, and then allowing, but people want to follow it. They want to be able to go back to it. They want content
Story
being
driven
created.
live content is
And it doesn't have to be
hard.
it doesn't have to be story driven though. Just when they added the Clone Wars capture the flag content into Battlefront, it made a big deal. It made a big difference. It allowed me to go on there for 2 hours every day that I have my time free and play for a few hours. It just keeping it alive. And it's not, I get where it's hard, but I don't think it's impossible. And if there's anybody that could ever do it, it's Star Wars. And if, but what the video game, like, is for all of the shit people talk, when you take the totality of live action Star Wars over the last decade and you line it all up and you hold it up against its peers in the medium, like overall, like it's pretty good. When you do it with the video game stuff, it's just too few and far between. Like they're really missing out on the video game stuff, and Star Wars gaming fans really aren't getting what they need, and hopefully that changes. There's a lot of Star Wars games coming. There's stuff that people have, not put out yet that they will about games in the future, I think. And the gaming future does look good, but it doesn't look I don't know if it meets everything that we need, Shell says,
I'm unimpressed with the Star Wars skins in Fortnite. Put it that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what the Fortnite skins look like though. I mean, the
yeah, but I'm
Stranger
saying the variety, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. They've all the main heroes are in. Yeah, I don't know. Well, who do you want? Who do you want that they haven't made? Who do you want that they haven't made?
Mortis.
Mortis? That's not a character. That's a place.
Damn.
Shell says the Star Wars Theory lore videos don't do that. Will shut up.
I want Luthen, man. That's what I want. I want Luthen more than anything in the world.
If he does the hoodie emote,
I want Luthen so much, dude.
No,
with that ship with the laser swords and shit.
There was a recent Fortnite survey that came out, and it was characters from Andor were on the survey. Like, do you want characters from Andor? So hopefully everybody who got the survey said yes.
And K2SO and.
Mm-hmm. You think
I want Lucas? That's who I want. I want George fucking Lucas. I want to play as George Lucas. I want skinny Lucas. I want old Lucas. I want the cartoony one from Detours. I thought that was a good design for Lucas. Actually, it's the one thing in the show I did like. I want Lucas with the turtleneck, right? When he's got that big turtleneck on him, like his Diane Sawyer days when he's hitting on Diane Sawyer. I like that. Yeah.
Shell says the Star Wars Theory lore videos don't do that well, though. Clearly, he realized that the culture war Catholic Kennedy videos are literally dwarfing the lore videos. He goes to where the audience is. Yeah, he definitely does. But also just dispassionately reading Wikipedia is not really the best way to go about that either. Azure says, but Lego isn't photorealistic. They want to be a clone bro in real life, not in Lego. They don't like TSS for this. But yeah, it's like
he's rage typing on his phone again, Jason.
If Lego Star Wars, for instance, had been a live service, they'd be making fucking cash hand over fists. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's talking about the guys that want to be clone bros. Okay, I see what he's talking about.
A couple clone bros go out into the bushes, kind of touch each other, kiss a little bit. What? I mean, that's what I'd do.
I'd be a hugging, I'd be a touching and a kissing and a loving. And a pushing.
I mean, it's not incest if it's yourself. It's just like masturbating, right? when clone troopers,
really only Tamura Morrison can answer this question. I don't think he wants.
Good question. When anybody ever gets to don't blame Star Wars Theory. He's living the good life. Well, I could live a good life doing a lot of shitty things too. Royal Fino says Jedi Survivor.
If Army Surplus had a voice on the internet, that would be it. Like,
listen to this. Listen to this clown reporting on the fandom war Kathleen Kennedy started. what? You live in a fan fiction world.
Where were you, Jan 6? Where were you? Just curious.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jesus Christ says you're not supposed to lie. Pretty sure Jesus doesn't actually like violence, and being, relentlessly unforgiving. So don't know how Christianity is going to really be compatible with the concept that you have old stars and stripes there. Shale says a single player Mandalorian game where you go from planet to planet taking on crime syndicates with the backdrop of being a bounty hunter would sell like hotcakes if it came out 2 years ago. And even today it would.
Yeah, well, welcome to what I've been saying on this channel for 2 years.
However, no, but the problem is that you can't. The Mandalorian story is ongoing. If they go and they put something meaningful into it, it means that it would have nothing could matter in it. Nothing meaningful would really take place. Matters. And so it would so what they'd have to do is they'd have to put Mando in it and then have you be a different character. Do people want that? I don't know, but I am with you though. I would rather they just make a lot of stuff and then what sticks and what's bad falls off, as opposed to having this paralysis by analysis kind of take. That's been Lucasfilm for the last 5 years. So the fandom war has nothing to do with the fandom itself. It actually has to do with our actual like culture. It's people wanting to take the actual things from the actual culture, their anxieties, the things that they're mad about, the person who they're voting for, and then apply it to this other thing. And then when you happen to be fascist adjacent, then you end up going and seeing things that aren't there, and then thinking that Kathleen Kennedy, someone who's never even really said very much about anything, who is very likely ideologically a Republican because she is rich as fuck, and is the fucking head of her
husband's wearing Blue Lives Matter patches, dude.
I don't think so. I think that was an unfortunate fucking I think that was an unfortunate. I don't see that guy as being that guy. I really don't. Just based off of his history. I could be wrong, but I don't think so, man.
His last name is Marshall, like as in law.
No, actually, Kathleen Kennedy didn't divide the fan base. The people that you follow on YouTube used her as a puppet, and in her silence created a character that you've now fallen for. You're in a cult. In Fortnite, Sam says they should have Filoni and have thrown his hat like the one that Mortal Kombat character cut you in half.
That is Sam, you win it for the day. You win it. Time. You win it. Oh my God.
No, right? I'm not bringing an ad hominem argument against Christianity. I'm saying the people that you are citing are literally philosophically juxtaposed against the actual philosophy that you are pretending to espouse.
I just you use the word cult and he assumes you're talking about Christianity. It says it all.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing that I could tell you is that there was no culture war started by Kathleen Kennedy. You probably saw the Force's female shirt and it made you really mad, and you didn't realize that it's a Nike shirt for a Nike promotion that Nike gave her, and that she wore at the event because it sounds, to use the word again, Star Wars. It sounds Star Wars adjacent. But grifters went and sold you 100% on this idea that Disney is somehow a radical company. They are mainstream as fuck. So they are middle of the road vanilla, and I'm just saying it isn't that. It really that isn't the case. Okay, well, I'm jumping into massive conclusions based off of your comments that are talking about a culture war being started. What was the first shot fired? You're the one who said it. I'm making assumptions based off of the things that you were writing, and you're saying that there is a culture war kicked off by Kathleen Kennedy. And I'm as a Star Wars historian, I'm just really curious as to when this first shot was fired. What happened? What was your what was your 9/11 that Kathleen Kennedy, you know what I mean, committed on you? Because it's just not there. And maybe I am jumping to massive conclusions because I've heard this
Kingdom of the
same
Crystal
bullshit
Skull.
for 10 years. Oh
Kingdom of the
God.
Crystal Skull. Like,
I was laughing when I took my daughter to see Jurassic Park in 3D a couple months ago, because there's like that moment where it does do like that woke shit in the middle of it, and I was like, oh, today they would just eat this up and die. But yeah. Anyways, do you all think Disney needs to use the volume less? They just need to use the volume appropriately. The volume isn't a catch-all, fix-all. It doesn't mean that you can't make sets. You know what I mean? It's that kind of shit is you know.
It's no different, Jason, than all the vast amounts of blue screen or green screen we had on Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. When you're doing the whole movie.
Take it back. Last Crusade has whole moments filmed in the volume, essentially, on a sequence intercut with the real ones, and right. Goonies as well.
But like, when you're doing it all on a set, behind a blue screen or a green screen, guess what it's going to look like? You did it on a set using nothing but blue screen or green screen. That's it.
The thing is with it is, do I think it matters like in a big way on all things? I don't. But we are also in a place where most of the people that are consuming it have been consuming it, Star Wars, as adults more than they ever did as children now. That's where we're at in this timeline.
Yeah, but they use
but hold on. I'm still making the point. The point is that shit was more okay when we were children. But now your audience is literally like ordering this like a fucking fine wine, and that's what they expect sometimes. And so when you do it, you don't give that, you know what I mean? But like they didn't do it very much in Andor, and the times that they did use the same effect, it was done with class, and I was okay with it.
But they use a tremendous amount of volume on Strange New Worlds, and you don't fucking hear one gripe about it. Some whole alien planets, because they do it well. That's it. You know, and they do base the show primarily around real sets. You know, when Kenobi goes,
I didn't hear anything you just said because I just got it. You don't know me.
Oh, we went there. We went there.
Right, till you don't know me. Hey, hey, if I've been unfair to you, sorry, but the comments that you made definitely sounded like it. I asked you for clarification, you never gave it, so we'll just move on. So sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to cut you off.
You don't know.
I was delighted. I don't know you. Yeah. Like Sundowner Club said, the volume is a tool.
Yeah, you know this guy hangs out with Kathleen Kennedy on a regular fucking basis, right? He knows the minds. He's there at the dinner parties. He's there at the Jack Reacher signings when they're standing in line to give Frank a signed copy of Jack Reacher.
We're number one. Yeah, I don't agree with meeting in the middle on things. A lot of when things are black and white, I think that's a very bad take usually to have. But I will meet you in the middle and say this. In terms of, there are the people on the right and the left that are playing the culture war game, and none of them care about Star Wars. None of them actually like the shit. None of them are actually emotionally invested. It's just a time to talk about how progressive they are or how fascist and right wing they are. It's a fucking platform to like do that. It's boring. I hate both of them. I think that they're all insincere people. And but once again, Star Wars isn't trying to fight a culture war. Star Wars is its culture war was oh God, a girl kissed another girl for a second. Like it was a joke.
Yeah. Meanwhile, these guys are watching girls kiss girls on fucking X videos all fucking day. And then they go and complain when they see it in the Star Wars. I mean,
I feel exposed right now.
You should, Jason.
All right. I gotta go, guys, because my kids are about to get dropped off. So I gotta go be a dad. Rob, anything to say before we go?
I want George Lucas, Filoni, Rick McCallum, John Knowles, and the guy who was the basis for Yoda, that old dude. I want them in Fortnite. That's what
okay. Yeah, I also want the basis for Toto in Fortnite.
The dog or the band?
The band.
The guy from the band with the mustache.
Yeah, the dog doesn't play bass.
Got a good stash.
All right, everybody.
He's got a Star Wars stash. He could fly an X-wing with that stash.
That's true. Yeah, we should do a whole thing where we should find X-wing pilots not in the roles and be like porno star or X-Wing pilot. You should play that game. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Let's get Stan on that show.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow or Monday. I think Monday we'll be back to business as usual. Monday-ish. All right. And if any big news happens, I'll jump back on and somehow rope Rob back into it. All right. Bye, everybody. Be cool. Stay in school. Wait, it's this one.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey. It's the end of the show. Come on, let's go. Hey. It's the end of the show. Come on, let's go. Hey. You know you should go. Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.